We're live in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Spencer don't have no balaclava on this week, no balaclava, hood, and dark glasses. It's amazing what 7 days can do, ladies and gentlemen. It brings me great pleasure, honor. Let us start with the magical words of dream it, believe it, become it.
Coming up, man. Coming up.
While go and spend a ranking.
I'm about, man. I'm doing my bits and bobs. How you doing, Tun? Tun is getting his shape, you know. I phoned Tun this morning. I can't talk. I hit him on the running machine, you know.
Bro, man, trainer's got a train, bro.
Bro.
Trainer's got to train.
We say that, but certain trainers don't. Certain trainers train themselves to eat, Tun. I ain't calling no names.
Yes, man training himself to eat. I can tell you something, mate. Our guest backstage, he definitely ain't training himself to eat. Because, bro, you know, he's a legend in British boxing, heavyweight boxing in particular. And we're not going to mess about this evening. We're going to get straight to proceedings. You know, we are 7 days shy of what was a tremendous all-British heavyweight contest featuring young Daniel Dynamite Dubois and I would say I'm not even gonna hold. I would say a flag bearer for British boxing as a whole.
Come on,
in Anthony Joshua last week.
1,000,000%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So many views. I've seen so much this week online. People have thoughts, opinions. Trainers getting cussed, you know, rolling the dice. It's so funny. I'm watching and I'm listening to the energy, and I'm saying, so you remember when they were saying empty the tank, empty the tank, but now it's roll the dice. So it's funny. It's just the way boxing is. Everyone goes through certain experiences, and if you're a committed trainer, you have to take it and keep rolling. Just like the fighters have to continue to dig in and plow forward. Anyway, we have so many views, so many opinions, but I feel that our first guest is definitely warranted to give his opinion, and I mean his thoughts, what he feels is next for both fighters, really. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great pleasure to introduce once again, because you know, man's a regular around here, the one, the only, Mr. Scott Walsh.
Hey guys.
All right, Scott.
How are we doing? Okay.
Bro, you're looking like your son. You're looking smooth like your son. You're looking like the son. The son's looking like the dad.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So,
you're looking sharp, my man.
Well, I know, Scott, thank you for taking your time out, because I know that you're at the Commonwealth Boxing Awards today.
Yeah.
I mean, I got an invite. Let me just big up GBM, Izzy Asif, because he invited me to be down his table. But, you know, I cannot miss being on the show because people are going to talk and think I'm in hiding.
Yeah. So, yeah, exciting times, right? In the boxing, definitely. So that was an amazing weekend, wasn't it? Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling too great, so I never made it. But yeah, amazing.
Scott, there's a lot of feedback on. Can you hear it, Tunde?
Yeah, I can hear the feedback.
That me?
I don't know what that is. Yeah. Manny, what's that? What's that feedback? Mic check, mic.
Is that my phone?
You know what?
Yeah, maybe just.
I'm gonna jump out and jump back into.
No, I don't think it's you, Spence. But yeah, jump in, jump out anyway.
Yeah,
let's see if it is that. Yeah, I think it is Spence. You know, Spence always got these dodgy phones, dodgy Wi-Fi. You know, you never know with Spence. But yeah, Scott. What was your overall reaction of the fight? Like, it was, boy, for me, it was just amazing. But from your professional standpoint, how do you feel the evening went?
Look, So as soon as I heard that the fight was happening, it's a dangerous fight. Listen, Daniel Dubois is a absolute monster in the heavyweight division, right? Everybody who's sparred him, we've had him in our gym, we know him. He's an absolute monster. Every shot he throws is with bad intentions, and it's a heavy shot, right? So, and he's going to give anybody problems. And Joshua is still not, as far as I'm concerned. When he lost to Ruiz, it showed that he had a lot to work on, right? When he come back in that first Ruiz fight, he didn't come back how I expected him to come back. He come back, he won the fight. I think it was more to do with what Ruiz didn't do than what Anthony did, right? But let's get things right. He's come back. He's done amazing. He's a absolutely fabulous guy for boxing. What he's done for boxing is out of this world. You know, we all love him. He got himself. I mean, them last 2 or 3 knockouts that he's had are sensational. The Ngannou won a special, but look, Ngannou was an MMA fighter.
Yes.
That went from orthodox to southpaw in a very slow motion thing. Any fighter that was going to fight him after Tyson Fury had exposed what he was, you know, but he was a deadly looking guy still, you know, so Anthony knew that he had to be on his toes to try and, you know, and we didn't know he was going to get rid of him in that style, but he switched to a southpaw. The second he switched to a southpaw, he jumped on him with a right hand, straight right hand, which we know is what you do when you're southpaw orthodox.
Yes.
You know, and he executed it beautifully, and then did it again a few moments later and finished the fight sensationally. So that was unbelievable, you know. So yeah, we know that Anthony Joshua on a good night is an absolute killer, right? We also know Daniel is putting himself back together after the couple of hiccups that he's had. Do I blame him for the Joyce taking a knee? Not at all. He did exactly the right thing. He saved his career. He, you know, listen, look at him now. So he did exactly the right thing. At the time, everybody questioned it, right? But I swear to God, I still thought it was the right move for him at his age and where he was. So there was no doubts in my mind that he could come back from that, and come back he did. So there was no problems there. You know, and then against Usyk, listen, I don't know. If we were on the winning side, we wouldn't have called that low. And if we were on the other side, we would have called it low, right? So again,
very sensible.
Dodgy, you know, dodgy or not dodgy, however we look at it, all depends on what side we're on. You know, and then his mind went off the game, and then he kind of like, you know, did he quit? I don't know whether he quit. I think his mind just went, you know. So, and he's a young lad, and we know that he deals with things differently, right? So that's fine. That's no problem. Now, the AJ, you know, he's come back with Hergovich. What he did to Hergovich is just was absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
You know, did we expect that? No, we didn't. So he's done a job there. And coming in, I was shocked that Joshua's team took that fight. I'll be honest with you. I would.
Oh, cut it there for a minute. I was really enjoying what Scott was saying.
Maybe powers was too much.
Oh, there you go.
I'd rather set that out and waited. I'd rather set that out and waited for the Fury fight than taking that. I knew it was a mistake when they took it. You know, if we know heavyweight boxing, we know that that's a dangerous guy to take in a, you know, but he needed the belt, I suppose. But even then, give him the respect that he deserves. He's a right-hand puncher, monster puncher, and you didn't have your left hand in the correct position for me. from the very start of that fight. You're coming out with a low left hand, not giving him the respect he deserves, and it's only a matter of time till you're going to get caught over the top. And you know, he did. So
Yes. I mean, from the technical standpoint, I have to agree and echo what you're saying. For me, it was the worst Anthony Joshua I've ever seen. His hands, it's almost as though he had gone backwards. When he fought Robert Helenius and Jermaine Franklin, you can see there was obvious improvements to try and work on his defense. You only have to go and look back at the footage. But here we saw somebody, and you're right, Scott. Like the disrespect that was given to Daniel, and anyone who watches this show every Sunday, I was saying this all the way up to the fight. You're calling this young man a quitter. You're not looking at the circumstances surrounding the two defeats. We know Daniel. I've known Daniel. Everyone's known Daniel in boxing as this dangerous guy who was only getting better. And I feel like the Ngannou fight and the Wallin fight actually flattered AJ. And probably, he's a young man, as we know. The people around him, I don't feel that they were giving him the right advice, because let's get it right. Ngannou, as you just pointed out, is a former MMA fighter having his first fight. What is that? Like, why was everyone saying it's the new AJ? It's the new AJ. I couldn't understand this. Going right up into the fight, and the Wallin fight, we know he's already beaten Wallin 3 times as an amateur.
yeah.
So we couldn't really.
No. Yeah.
You can't see. What improvement can we see?
I think it was more to do with the mental side of it, Tunde.
Yeah, but you said that. But how would you said that, Spence? And I have to ask Scott this. You're saying the mental, but how can you know there has been a mental improvement if you're not challenged? You have to be challenged. You have to be put in a situation where, all right, cool. If he had shown that same thing against Daniel Dubois, then I would have said, yeah, all right, cool. So,
but I'm saying, but Tunde, would you say that Otto Walling wasn't better than Helenius? I would say that Otto Walling is better than Helenius, Tunde.
I'll be honest with you, neither of those two guys, in my opinion, Scott Welsh could come back now and beat both of them boys. That's just my opinion, Spence.
No, regardless of that, Tunde, I'm saying that it was a progression. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was progressively better than the performance, because I was ringside against we sat together. No, not for Wallin, for Franklin fight. We sat together.
Yeah, we were there.
Right?
We were there.
And I was critical ringside, right? Until going home and watching it, I saw what he was trying to work on and where his hands were. It was technically, I could see the improvements, Tunde.
But who was that with, Spence?
I know, but regardless, that is against. Wait, but you're saying who's that with?
Yes,
against Franklin. Franklin is a good boxer. He's not an A-class fighter. He's a B-class fighter, but he's a good boxer. He's technically sound. You can't knock Franklin.
No. I'm not disputing that. The point I'm saying, you're talking about obvious improvements. I'm saying, who was the improvements with?
No, I'm saying the improvements I'm talking about when he was with Derek James.
That's what I'm trying to. That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting at.
I'm talking about the Franklin fight. There was improvements there, Tunde.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Wallin and the Ngannou fights when he had changed camps. I said it right at the beginning with Scott. I said we saw that he was working on things, and there was an improvement. Not an improvement. Ain't everyone just saying, "Oh, look at this new guy. Look at this new guy." No. And I'm saying it, and I'm saying it like this because I said it all the way up to the fight, Spence. I said it. Where's this improvement? Where's this new thing?
I'm thinking about the tentativeness to Anthony Joshua in delivering certain shots where it seemed like he wasn't over apprehensive in throwing shots. You saw with the Ngannou fight, He wasn't over, and we said, "Oh, well, it was only Ngannou." Ngannou still floored Tyson
Scott,
Fury.
Mr.
Ngannou
Mr.
still
Welch,
floored
Mr.
Tyson
Welch,
Fury, bro.
Mr. Welch. If you, I mean, your professional days are over now. But when your
But he's
son
still
was
not
coming
young,
up,
Scott.
wait, Scotty. When your son was growing up as a young lad, if you got in a ring with him and sparred with him, you probably would look like Muhammad Ali. You probably let off shots like Sugar Ray Leonard. Because you know, when you're in there with inferior opposition, you look better. You can look magical.
Yeah, I mean,
Scott.
so it's a tough one, right? So look, I say this. I say that Joshua, them last, is it three? That was last three fights where he had three fantastic knockouts. So them three knockouts are probably the best knockouts of his whole career, right? Without a shadow of a doubt, especially the Ngannou. So that confidence should have been through the roof, right? He should know what kind of man he is now and the power he carries. I've always said it all the way through. As far as I'm concerned, he was going to be the second coming of Ali in the early part of his career. I expected him to beat Fury in the early days. When he was coming through, I didn't see that I didn't kind of see that he would have he wouldn't have not beat Fury in the early days, right? Then obviously he gets derailed, and the way he got derailed showed that maybe he hadn't been working on the stuff that I believed he'd been working on, right? So from that day forward, for the next load of fights, including the Franklin fight, the confidence for me still wasn't there. Now it wasn't there. Now in the Wallen, the Viking, what's his name? The Viking.
Hellenius.
Yeah. So the Hellenius fight again, up to round 5 or 6, he just was skirting around the edges, and then he come alive, didn't he? What round was that?
7.
Knockout?
He stopped him in 7.
Yeah.
7.
So from like the fifth round, he started to go to work, and then he pulled it out sensationally in the 7th round. And that's kind of like what he does, right? From halfway through point, that's when he goes to work in the second half of the fight. So so he needed to, and then he's got the next 2 knockouts sensational after that. So he knows that he delivers these punches, right? So why didn't he go from the first round? You got the most dangerous man in front of you in Dubois. Dubois has already dropped him in the gym, supposedly quite badly. I don't know. It's just hearsay. So you're going in with a guy you know can drop you, who you know is very, very dangerous. So why wouldn't you unload them beautiful, unbelievable power shots? What he pulled out in the 5th round, in the 1st round. Because the longer, as we know in the heavyweight division, right, one punch, it's all over. And that's what happened, right? So why didn't we start this game? Why didn't we start that fight with a different? Why didn't the Anthony Joshua from the early days, who was bombing from the start, why wasn't he there in that? Why didn't he start? He must have known that. And to me, again, it's about confidence, and the confidence didn't look. He tried to match his jab. He couldn't match his jab early. He tried a couple of jabs, and then boom, he got hit with the jab. So it kind of went from there to me. What do you think, Spence? What guys?
Well, I mean, for me, I've always said that power is determined by who's standing in front of you. Hence why you can look good against someone, and then when you're in front of another person, you're like, hold on, mate, what happened to that guy I saw before? And you're right, Scott. There was an obvious mental thing where AJ, obviously, you have to be, as you said, it's heavyweight boxing, so you have to be cautious. You have to be aware. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, listen, everyone knows, everyone is the best trainer. Everyone is a manual steward after the event. But I feel that, in my opinion, and as mad as this sounds, Scott, I still think AJ can come back. Because why? Because what we saw, I mean, most people in the barbershops don't believe that. But what we saw is a young man, and I'm going to say he's still young. He's still, he's only had 2 hard fights, really, or 3. Klitschko, obviously the first Ruiz, which again we're overlooking that. Klitschko was a brilliant show of character. He came back from a heavy knockdown, ultimately to stop Klitschko. So that was great. Yes, he had almost 80 fights or 70 fights, but suffice to say, it was still good. Then the Ruiz, and now this Daniel Dubois. But one thing we know about Anthony Joshua, he's a person you can put your hand on your heart, said it ain't over until it's over. And what we saw in that fight, Scott, is a warrior that was not stopping, regardless of his defense, to the point that even after being knocked down, I think it was about 3 times, in that 5th round, he buckled Daniel. He buckled
that sensationally, fantastic.
Yeah,
come back with a beautiful, massive right hand, but then it kind of like he then kind of just went into mental mode to try and jump on him to get rid of him.
Well, so that's the thing.
That's the problem, because he didn't do it. He didn't have his hands in the correct position. He didn't, he jumped straight in, wasn't really thinking. He saw the end and then tried to take it too quickly.
Yes.
And paid the ultimate price.
Yes. And for me, again, Scott, that shows the killer instinct is there. I just hope that it hasn't derailed him, because one thing, again, we can say about Anthony Joshua, Spencer was in there. We could joke about it now. He was saying prior to the fight, AJ's ordained. It was ordained. And I was like, well, what about Daniel? You get what I'm saying? What about Daniel? If AJ's not doing it. But one thing we know about Anthony Joshua is he's a very quick learner. And sometimes, as you know, heavyweight boxing, you ain't really got time to learn. But we've seen it. He's won an Olympic gold medal. He's become a 2-time heavyweight champion. He's gone in there with a young lion. But he has the, as someone's saying, he has the killer instinct, but he ain't got a chin. Well, Vladimir Klitschko never had a chin.
Listen,
guess what?
If Daniel Dubois hits anybody on the chin, he's not going to match. So
thank you very much.
But the fact of the matter was, he didn't have his hand up. So would he have took that shot with his hand up? Of course he would have done. Of course he would have done.
That's it.
So that's the whole thing here. Is did he have a defense? Was his defensive good enough? No, it wasn't. Yeah. Does he want to put himself through that again? We don't know that, right? Let me tell you, I've been knocked out at the highest level. I got knocked out on the undercard of Lennox in Atlantic City '94. That haunts me, right? That haunts me.
Big bad James.
Yeah, big bad
and
James.
And he called out Herbie Hyde. Herbie, come fight me, Herbie.
Yeah. Listen.
Sorry, Scott.
That still haunts me.
Tunde wasn't watching boxing then.
So that's right? So let me tell you, getting knocked out is a whole new different ball game that you've got to deal with. He got knocked out in front of 96,000 people on the biggest TV program, boxing program across the world. I mean, that's no. What I did like, I loved what he did the next day and sat there and said, listen, I've done fantastic for boxing. Nobody can take anything away from me. Where he comes from and what he's achieved is absolutely unbelievable. And I loved that statement, right? I loved it because, no, he shouldn't be pissed off. He shouldn't be, I was depressed. I couldn't stop getting upset for 3 months. Everywhere I walked, tears would come down my eyes because I was so embarrassed that I'd let everyone down, the people down and people down. So he's going. I don't know whether he's going through that. I hope he's not going through that, because on the next day he looked in a good place. And if he can handle it like that, then he can definitely come back. But if it's haunting him like it haunted me, and I saw James's face every time I closed my eyes for the next 18 months until I got my revenge. But I was younger. I was 26, 27 years old. How old is, no, what is he, 20?
34.
What is he, no, 34 or 35.
Yes, 30,
34.
34.
So he's
He's
34, right? So listen,
34
what's
years
he
old.
got? He can. What can he do? He can do a Lennox and stay in the game to 38. Tyson, he's the
Yes.
biggest name in the world. He can stay in the game to 38, 39, right? Do I think that's the right thing to do? No, I don't. I think he should get out now. He's got all his faculties. He's got his money. This place is a dangerous, dangerous place, and it ruins people's lives, and it can kill you ultimately, kill you, right, and rob you of a lot of things in your life. So does he need that? He's a massively successful man. He's a very, very wealthy man. He's got a beautiful life, an unbelievable life. And what he doesn't know is when this boxing game finishes, there's a whole new world of beautiful, beautiful things in life waiting for him to see and do. And, you know, I become a granddad 2 days ago. My boy
Come on,
had a birthday.
congratulations,
Congratulations.
But don't be calling me granddad, you boys.
sir.
Shut up, granddad.
Right, but yeah. So you know, wonderful things awaits him, and he won't know that. He thinks he's got to stay in this game to prove himself. What's he got to prove? What's
What
this
did I
guy
say,
got to
Spence?
prove? Huh? What's he got to prove, Spence?
Yeah,
I
I
said
hear
it.
What
that.
else?
He ain't got that. Hold up, hold up. I agree with you. He hasn't got nothing to prove. To the world, he hasn't. Maybe he's got something to prove to himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it's the fact that he's thinking, you know what? I lost to Daniel Dubois. I can't second best against him. And you know what? I don't want to stop fighting. Because,
Yes.
you know, unlike how we grew up, Scott, I remember when Scott used to travel down from Brighton to come down to Lynn Gym to get sparring, right? I was a kid then. I was 17. And the world's changed. I'm bloody 50 again. Right? So I'm saying to you, and I remember when how we grew up, it was different. Our love for the game, I think, was totally different from Anthony Joshua's love for the game. He come in at 18. So he never had aspirations when he had all the Ring magazine posters of the black and white fighters that they used to put at the back of it, stuck on his wall around. I know you used to have them stuck up in your wall. He never went through getting the thank you. He never went through getting a boxers collection. I mean, Tunde don't even know about that. The boxers collection where you had all the boxers collections where you're reading, you could learn all the history on all the fighters, all the great old timers and that. He didn't go through that. Boxing's changed now. So he coming at 18. I'm saying to you, I believe, after speaks to Andy as well, we spoke on Monday for an hour. There's a lot of fight still in him. And I'm saying, yes, it is dangerous. You can get hurt and all the rest of it. I totally agree. I don't believe that he should retire. I believe that he should take the rematch, but he has to make drastic fundamental changes. Right? And there's a couple of guys that I know can help him with that.
But
Spence.
do you believe that mentally after the Ruiz fight, so the way he come back then, do you believe that he's going to come back as a killer from the first round in the return? If I could guarantee that, he was going to come back like that,
the only way
I'd say listen all day.
The only way Anthony Joshua is going to come back as a killer is if he's around killers, because energy goes where it flows. So if he's around a couple killers, I'll go take him down to the hood. I'll bring him around to Peckham, where Tunde grew up.
Stop all this hood business.
Right?
Let it go, mate. Let it go.
Tun, stop. That's what I believe that Anthony Joshua needs. Right? I believe that Anthony Joshua can beat Daniel Dubois. I'm not wishing. And the thing about it is this, I'm going to be real with you, right? Contrary to belief, I don't begrudge Daniel Dubois of his success at all. I'm quite happy for him and his trainer, right? I'm going to be real with you, right? But I do believe that no one ain't going to bring us those nights, and not for selfish, greedy reasons. Am I saying, I just believe that there's a fight inside of Anthony Joshua, and not even all building up. Let's build him up, building up. There's rumors about people want to build him up to hopefully make Dubois fight Parker, thinking that Parker will outpoint Dubois, and then Joshua fight Parker. No, not interested in that. I want to see Anthony Joshua get a direct, straight rematch, right? Reason why, because he's gonna have the fear inside of him anyway, right? But you got to say, like, not roll the dice, none of that kind of thing, but technically go out and do what you have to do. And I believe if he did that, and even if he came up second best, but he gave it his best shot, and there's no excuses, then you can walk away from the game.
So can he do that? Can he do that with the current team?
Yeah, Scott. Can you do that with the current team, Scott?
Don't chat. You say he tried to flip it over to Scott, but go ahead.
That he did, right? On the performance that he did, right? Listen, you can blame anyone. I blame. So let's ask this question: is he his own man, Anthony Joshua, right? Or is he a man that's being told what to do? Yeah, because I don't believe he's his own man, and that's why he got beat. And again, when you're not your own man, and you're being guided by the corner people or your trainers and everything. Listen, he's been guided by the trainers all the way through, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I may be speaking out of term and I may be wrong here, but for him to get in that ring and not know that he's got to keep that left hand up against the most dangerous fucking... sorry.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry.
We say worse than that on this show. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Against the most dangerous fighter in, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I don't believe... I believe that he's... look, you understand what I'm talking about there, guys. Yeah,
100%.
When we train kids, right? I've got loads of amateurs and pros, and some of these kids have not got their own brains. They trust in you to tell them everything, and it looked to me like if he doesn't know that he's got to keep them hands in that position against a very dangerous fight, is he going to do it after he's getting and they probably didn't tell him either, because they thought it was going to be I believe that they honestly believed that it was going to be an easy night's work. So that's what I saw, and that, how you could underestimate someone like that is a very hard thing to
we heard him in the corner. We heard AJ in the corner. He said he's shit. Who told him that?
Wow.
Who made him like that? That conversation has been had in training.
Yeah.
He never just thought of that on the night. There's been a conversation that Daniel Dubois is shit.
Wow.
And so what is inside will come out. And this is the point. You cannot, as a fighter, first thing, which I love what you just said there, Scott, is you have to think for yourself. The fighter must think for himself. He must respect the instructions of those that are around him, that are close to him, but they have to have the ability to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Especially at this elite level of boxing, which we know about. So I just feel that, again, what is it? Another chain of... I'm not saying...
All the time you win, nobody's telling you, and you're not listening to anybody to say, every time you're winning there, you get that patted on the back and tell you how great you are. Nobody's telling you to work on the stuff that's not you're not doing.
Yes.
And that's what's happened here. He's got complacent, and he's honestly, to be complacent at that level against that type of fighter is just, I mean, it's just not. It should never have happened.
As I said, Scott,
never have happened.
You go back and watch Dylan White versus Anthony Joshua as amateurs. When Dylan beat AJ, it was exactly. Go look at the hand positioning, everything, and that only comes when you are not being told day in, day out, you're doing this wrong. Your hands are there. They should be there. I thought Spencer was coming in there telling me he heard the sounds of AJ punching the bag. I'm like, mate, bags don't punch back. It's the sound don't matter. It don't matter.
Sorry, Tunde, where'd you get that one from? Bruce Lee? Where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that one from?
The sound don't matter. It's the same thing which I said. And we can go over this over and over again. In the build-up to the fight, all I kept on hearing was he cannot get hit with the right hands Daniel got hit with in a Hrgovic fight. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
And if AJ hits Daniel, we know. But what if Daniel could take the right hands? That was always my question. And if you're on your job,
how great was Daniel's hands? How great were they? The shots that he threw in that last hurrah of Joshua, I think all them shots he deflected on his arms. You know, so including the
Brilliant.
one that nailed him, he still half deflected it as it landed. So his hands were great, in a great position. So, you know,
Listen, AJ can come back. I've got no doubts. I think that he's got the spirit. If a man has the spirit, I mean, we even look at someone's career like Evander Holyfield, and how many times he was told stop, but it was
yeah,
his spirit. He was a small heavyweight going toe to toe with the biggest punches in the game. So if the
yeah.
heart is there, if the spirit is there, and that you're willing to learn, that somebody is there willing to correct you, then I've got faith in AJ, as I've always had faith in AJ. But the current situation cannot continue, because if you go in there with Daniel again with the same mindset, with the same shit, with the same let me sit down and watch YouTubes and come up with a game plan, that ain't gonna work, as the Americans say. That ain't gonna work. You know,
So
and
how
I
many? Yeah,
go on,
I
go
mean,
on.
look, is he prepared to die in that ring? That's what it takes
I
to
believe
win
AJ
this
is.
ultimate championship, right? To win them fights at that top level, you have to be prepared to die. You
I
really,
believe AJ
honestly,
is.
1,000,000% be prepared to die. But the problem was, if you're prepared to die, why didn't he start as he meant to go on from the very beginning? Because this is it. You're in the most dangerous place you can be in that ring. After he got hit them first few times in that first round, that should have told him, okay, shit, this is, you know, this is it. We need to do something. And
What?
because he never fired up straight away, I mean, you know, that could have all been over so quickly, couldn't it? By Daniel, you know, he got through it, but it wasn't guaranteed he was getting through it. You know, we thought it was going to be over by the first or second round, right?
Yes,
Literally after that start. So, you know, the fact he went, what was it, 5 rounds
Five
was,
rounds.
yes.
yeah, the fact he went into the
Um,
fifth round was pretty incredible anyway. But again, you know, but was he prepared to die? What did in that second fight with Ruiz? Was he prepared to die? Yeah.
well, I mean, listen, I don't think, I know Scott maybe call me a bit new school, but I don't think any fighter should be going into the ring with a mindset that I'm ready to die, because you don't want
I
to
went.
die.
Yeah.
You want to come home to your grandchildren. You want to come home to your. But what I'm saying is that there's got to be the fighting spirit, and just like Daniel Dubois when he fought Joe Joyce, he was not prepared to be blind. He weren't. And that's why he said, you know what, later, I'm coming out of this fight and I'm coming back again. So the die talk, I've never been a supporter of ready to die. I think it's very draconic, and I think it's very
Well,
it's foolish.
in my era, in our
Yes,
era, they were dying around us, right? And they're still getting maimed now. Not as much, but
yes,
you know, they were getting maimed around us, right, Spencer? In our era, right? I could
yes,
probably reel off 6 people that died, you know, and got brain damage. So getting damaged and losing our life was something that I had to deal with. I
yes, sir.
definitely said to myself, I have to. I'm either going to, you know, my world title fight. I believed that I could have got, you know, I could have got done in that at any stage. In my head, you know, I was
Because
dealing with something anyway. But
you wanted to break the stick. That was the
yeah,
line.
yeah. But I mean, look, and then after that, I think every fight I had, then I knew how dangerous, you know, I knew how dangerous it was in that ring. Look, he got, you know, he got his senses snapped, right?
Yes,
So that's going to have a lasting effect. We don't just get up, brush ourselves off, and we're back to normal. Because now, guess
absolutely.
what? Everyone knows that he can be hurt again. So whoever he fights is going to be looking for that head, you know. And he's got to come back. He's got to have a couple of fights, warm up, or like you say, Tunde, he's going to go straight into the
Straight
Daniel fight.
rematch.
If he goes straight in, listen, like we said, if it hasn't, if it's not sitting with him like it sat with me,
Yes,
you know. the way it sat with me was horrendous. So I couldn't have gone straight back in. You know, if we're
Yes.
talking about him going straight back in, if he's dealt with it and he's done and he's not having no worries about it, great, get back in there. Wow, wonderful. What would we love to see? We'd love to see him come back and do a job if he can. You know, I mean, we're boxing. I'm a boxing heavyweight boxing fan. All weights. I'm a boxing fan. Number one. I love, you know, the harder the fights, the more brutal and everything they are. Then you know, me personally, I love watching it. So for some warped,
Reason.
some warped reason, yeah, I
Yes.
enjoy the hardest fights, right? So watching the hardest fights, that was a hard, brutal fight for Anthony Joshua. So if he wants to come back and go straight into that again, then you know and that's what he's got to do to win, and that's what he's got to do to sort his head out. If he's in the place I was, I needed to get my revenge, and I got my revenge on after it happened to me, and you know,
Guns got finish.
yeah. So I needed to get the revenge here. Would I have been happy going straight back in? No, I needed to do the work that I hadn't done in the first fight to put the second fight right, which I did. I brought in the 30 stone guy. I brought in I left no stone uncovered. He needs, you know, what did he needs to not. It's not just about putting his hands in the correct position now.
Yes.
He's now got to do a lot more work. He's got to do a lot of mental work, a lot of strength work, a lot of, you know, getting his mind right and understanding how he's going to dismantle Daniel Dubois. That's not an easy thing. That's a big.
It's not, Scott. It's not, Scott. And I appreciate everything that you said. And we've been saying it for a long time. The mindset, the mindset, the mindset. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with AJ's mindset. You know, we've seen him go off to these retreats where they take away your mobile phones, but then I see pictures and tweets on the mobile phones. So I don't know what kind of retreat that was. We've seen all these things. AJ's mindset is not the issue. Is sometimes in boxing, they're just people who are just better than you. But as long as you give it your all, as long as you're adequately prepared.
Let me ask you a question, Tunde. You know, when he was in the corner and he turned his head and put his tongue out, tell me about that.
I thought you know me. I tell you how it is.
Listen, his mindset was on that job, right?
But no, you're right. Let me tell you something. Apparently, because I kicked up a fuss about that, and I'm like, someone on air said that he's been doing that from when he fought Dylan, and I'm like, no, would that have to be nipped in the bud from the Dylan fight? But this is what I'm saying. When there are people around you that allow you to do these things without being pulled up on, you're just gonna continue to do it. And so what we saw, listen, AJ deals with a lot in terms of nobody knows what it's like to carry that cross, what AJ carries. And hence why I suggested going away, being away, not being in the UK for camps. You've got to do the old Marvin Hagler. Go away, prepare yourself for war. That is the strategy that's needed. Going away, sticking your tongue out, talking to the trainer like it's a bridge. Sorry, bridge. I said like a bridge. Like it's a friend thing. Yeah, of course, you've got to be able to relate to someone, but there comes a point where that person has to listen. And we, throughout AJ's career, everybody's has commented on what they think is best for Anthony Joshua. And it all goes back to the same thing what you said. AJ's got to know what's right for him. You know, he's got to know, he's got to make that decision. And the mind is there. You don't get up after being knocked down so many times and keep on fighting and hurting a man in the 5th round and going in for the kill. It's just the instinctive things which need to be worked on day in, day out. Like when you're going in for the kill, you know that's when a man's the most dangerous. The amount of fighters I see trying to rush Nigel Benn when he was rocking and rolling on the ropes, boom, you're gone. You know, well, not you're gone, but you know, they were gone. And I just feel that these are the minute things that Anthony Joshua has to deal with to continue in the heavyweight division. I'm in total agreement with you, Scott. Do not take the rematch straight away. No.
That's
You
your
need
business.
it.
Take the rematch.
No,
Just
listen,
Spenny,
Spenny, Spencer,
rematch.
you are the knowledge. Everyone knows that.
Right.
But Spence, Daniel Dubois, you need to prepare properly for this one.
Yeah.
And you need the preparation prior to going back in there with that killer. Because Dan Dubois, as I said, when you said AJ's ordained, I said, what you don't understand about Dan, I've been there from the start. This boy was programmed to be a fighter. If you look at the first round, before the first knockdown, you see him look at his dad. And you hear his dad in the corner. Kill him, rush him. You understand? Because he's programmed, he's tunnel vision. He's tunnel vision. And you can't go back in there with a youth like that without no proper education.
To go in that fight, right? So this is me against James Ibola, the return, yeah? For me to go into that return fight, I had to prepare to die in that ring.
Yes, I get this.
Sorry,
Yes.
I got it mixed up. I wasn't prepared because I was dealing with stuff for my world title fight. But against James in the return, I was prepared to lose my life in that ring in front of my home crowd. And he was in front of his home crowd there in London. It was his Wembley arena, you know, not Daniel's. It was AJ's, right? So that was his whole place there to prepare and to go out and win that fight sensationally. And he didn't, right? Now, are we asking him to do that again? Or where is it going to be? Is it probably going to be Wembley again? You know, you're asking something, and you're telling me that he doesn't need to prepare to die in that ring. Mate, he needs to absolutely be prepared to die in that ring. Otherwise, he doesn't even get close to that fight. He can't turn around
I get it,
somebody in
Scott.
that ring
I get it, Scott.
and blowing kisses and sticking his tongue out.
No, Scott.
You know,
Scott, I get it.
That's right.
I totally get it.
He's a new pup in the game.
I totally get where you're coming from. Hold on, Spence, one sec. I'm just trying to put my... Okay, it's on. Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from, your perspective, your mindset, and everything. The thing is, boxing's changed a lot, Scott. Boxing's changed a lot. You know these kids. You got a kid. I got a kid. Spencer's got a kid. You know they're not built like us. They're not tough like us. They ain't got that. So it's just the way it is. And I just feel that unless you come from Tijuana, Mexico, these youths ain't got that. But what is better than actually having that is having someone around you with that mindset. Because like attracts like. If you had a Scott Welsh in the corner, preparing you, telling you, listen, no one ain't coming to our town and embarrassing us. We're rocking this. We're rocking, we're going down. If we have to empty the tank, we're emptying the tank. See, when I was saying that, everyone was laughing at me. Everyone was laughing at me. In Russia, everyone was laughing at me. Yeah. But at least we went in there, or I went in there based on an instruction was, bro, it's do or die. You can't be telling fighters to roll the dice. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to interrupt you. We have former British Commonwealth, I don't know, British Commonwealth, European heavyweight, another heavyweight done joining us, the one, the only, Mr. Derek Sweetly from my town. Talking about AJ, from my town, Pecknam.
He's with me. He's here.
Not Pecknam. Mr. Sweetie.
Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening, man. I'm listening to the talk, and you guys are hitting some good points.
Come on.
Points, man.
We're upstairs.
One thing I'm going to jump on straight away, you see. One thing I jump on is the rematch, because that's the talk right now, right? And I wouldn't advise AJ to go straight to rematch. I wouldn't, and I'll see why. These are two things, right? It's not because AJ can't do it. He proved that he can hurt Dubois in the last round. But guess what?
Sir.
Mentally, he just been knocked down a few times and knocked out in a bad way, right? So for him to go back in there on the fight night, he might be good. If he has an 8-week, 10-week camp now and go into the fight, he'll get knocked out again. You know why? He needs to get rid of that psyche right there where he'd been knocked down. He was beaten up. You understand? So he has to be prepared to, like Scott said, he's prepared to die in a rematch with Ebola, right? I don't know if AJ's going to be prepared to die at the moment. I don't know. Because he's had over 10 years of fighting at the top.
He's got a beautiful life. He's got everything he wants. Why would he be prepared to die? Why should he be prepared to die?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He's from the Olympics, right? Winning the gold medal to his career, which has been a very colourful career.
Yes.
And rewarding, financially rewarding. He's not going to have that do or die situation. If he's killing you, he'll kill you. But the do or die, it's not a do or die with AJ right now because he's come through 10 years of fighting at the top. Something's got to give.
But you've got everything in your life, you know.
Can I say something though? I mean, that sounds correct. But can we really say what is inside someone's heart and their mind? If AJ himself...
Okay, let me answer that then, Tunde. If you go back to when AJ fought against Ruiz, under pressure, he said to his corner, I don't know what to do. I don't know if you guys remember hearing that in the corner.
I remember that.
I don't know what to do, right? Yeah, so if he says he don't know what to do then when he was a hungry fighter, how's he going to know what to do now? All those years later, right?
I'll answer that.
The first fight. AJ
the reason why... The reason why I'll answer that for my young brother Anthony Joshua, we are still failing to realize, as mad as it sounds, Anthony Joshua is still learning the sport of boxing. Why? Because of the situation, he's never been grounded with one particular teacher. And I keep saying this.
I disagree.
Wait, I want to hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I want to hear what you're saying after. Let me finish my point. This is parliamentary procedure. We're not doing like on IFL TV. One person talks, another person
But I'm
talks,
talking.
and
I'm
then you
listening
talk.
to you
This
for
is what
over
I'm say.
52 minutes.
You have to let someone finish their point.
What do you mean?
Spence, you have to let someone finish their point.
So
So I'm saying that you cannot bond with somebody over a period of time, go to a next person, go to a next person, go to a next person. Because 5 different people are telling you 5 different things. The greats do not have 10 trainers.
Very true.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, the list goes on and on and on. Fighters of the past weren't blaming the trainer. It never used to be like that. But we know this is a new era. So my point is, stay solid, continue to grow and develop. Know within your own self, I'm getting better. That's what a man has to say to himself. I'm getting better. Not some friggin' cheerleaders telling you, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. No, brother. So carry on. Spence, tell me.
No,
Man said Mike Tyson had a dozen trainers, but Mike Tyson had a dozen trainers after his carers died.
Who?
I
didn't mention Mike Tyson.
That's what Joe's saying in the comments. But I'm saying that's after the people that built him, Cuss, Teddy Atlas, Jim Jacobs. These man, when they pass, that's when you start to see the boys in the hood. You start to see the roadman around him. You start to see brothers who don't even have an ice pack. They've got a balloon, filling the balloon with water and putting on Mike's eye. These are not trainers. These are not teachers. These are not coaches. These are cheerleaders. And this is what I'm saying is the problem. And so when you got man like Derek Williams, Scott Welsh, and myself telling you, you don't take the immediate rematch. You have to listen. You don't take the immediate rematch. If Uncle Tunde is telling you, do not take the rematch.
I didn't hear Spencer say that. He didn't have a chance to explain that. And Spencer knows this game, so no one really challenges you. Spencer, you understand? So he's not saying that you're wrong, but it's just, in my opinion, right? I think that, okay, first of all, I don't like knocking trainers, but I didn't hear about Ben Davison before he worked with Tyson Fury, right? The first fight.
No,
that's the first time I heard about him. I never heard about boxing, right? So if he's working with a fighter, if the fighter is doing good and winning, he's a good trainer. But if the fighter comes under trouble, on hot water, right? What is he going to be able to tell the fighter to do then? And that's what you got to look at. And AJ came under severe pressure, and he was told to roll the dice. And I don't think that was... Now, if you know you got that kind of person in your corner, how are you going to get through hot water again? You understand? That's the whole thing.
You know, the rolling the dice, yeah, is when you're playing craps. And in boxing, we got 4 corners in the ring, so maybe that's what you thought he was playing, bro.
Like, the ultimate thing still stands in this, right? It doesn't matter what trainer he has; he should know what he's got to do. He knows what he's got to do, right? He should have known how to prepare for that man after getting dropped in the gym by him. He should know exactly what to work on, you know. And if he doesn't, then now we're going to rely on another team to come in. If he's I don't know whether he's left them or whether he's still staying with them or what, but you know, everyone's blaming the team. I'm not getting involved in listen, there's 101 reasons why he got beat, but for me, it sits with him ultimately because he's the one who was, you know, putting his head out, looking around in there. He wasn't 100% committed, 100 million% committed. He should have. His mindset should never have wavered in that ring for 1 second of any time for him to turn around and look into the crowd. Wow, I was shocked, you know. And then a little while later, he's getting dropped. So again, was he prepared? Was he mentally prepared? And can he get mentally prepared with the wealth and everything he's got around him? I don't know. I really don't know. A 34-year-old guy who's got everything that he's got. Are we expecting him to come back as a killer because he's got to mix with a few guys that are telling him he's got to kill? Yeah, mate. It's a different world he's living in. That's what I know
what you're saying, Scott. I know what you're saying, but I remember being in the back of a car with some guys that were hiring out cars to Floyd when Floyd came to London. Floyd Mayweather, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I remember them, and I must have phoned. I can't remember. I think I phoned Coach Yarde. These geezers in the back of the car. Bear in mind they've been employed by Floyd, saying Floyd will never last. He's got too much money. And I'm like, hold on, you might have getting money from Floyd, and this is how you're talking about him. I remember being in the Peacock gym, Floyd Mayweather against Ricky Hatton. And I remember people saying, Floyd has got too much money. He's comfortable. Ricky's going to stop him. And I was like, yeah, let's continue to bet. And I cleaned up in Peacock from all them taxi drivers. I made so much money for that fight there. But I don't feel...
That was Mayweather is a phenomenon that's been at it since he was 2 years old. So.
Yes. But the point what I'm trying to say is that fighters get to, you have superstar fighters. Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. They've got the P's. They've got the money. They probably even... I'm not trying to say they made as much money as Anthony Joshua because we know he's made phenomenal amounts of money. But there must be something deep within which drives them, which motivates them more than just money. So I think I don't... It's an opinion, and I don't think it's as easy as just saying he's got all this money, he ain't got the drive, he ain't got the motivation, because obviously he has, because he wouldn't still keep getting up fight after fight, selling out Wembley multiple times if he didn't have something inside of him that is driving him. And I just feel that you put all the other things aside, which is the boxing itself, and just look at the individual, Anthony Joshua. we know he can come back. Or I personally think he can come back. With this particular fight,
every fight.
Say again? You said something, D? Say that again, D? You're cutting out there. Yeah, I was saying with this particular fight, I think there needs to be some.
Say that again, Derek.
Okay, I was saying that with this particular fight, AJ was outclassed in this fight, not just through punching power, but by he was outboxed and beaten up, right? So
yes,
that's a psychological dent on him. So how does he come back? How does he come back from that, knowing that he, in a way, is like I hate to say, but it's like a humiliation because everyone expected him to win that fight. A lot of people expected him to win. Maybe 60 or 70% of people thought he would have won that fight.
Yes.
And then he got turned here, really, right? I think that there come a point in his career when the wheels start to drop off. And
Derek's got that Peckham Wi-Fi. Sorry about that, mate.
Yeah, he bought it from
around needs to know. Okay, I'm going to fight one. I'm in the city.
Okay.
I'm in the posh area.
Yeah. We've moved on from Peckham days, then, yeah.
yeah. No, I'm in the city. I got to head out because guess what? They're leaving the place now.
All
right, Derek. Listen,
thank you very much for
fantastic.
The show, let me see something, man. You guys doing a good thing. I love this program. I love to hear you each week, man. All right, blessings.
Thank you very much, Derek.
Thank you very much,
appreciate it, brother.
So
Derek Sweet D. Williams, former British Commonwealth and European heavyweight champion, a great man.
Scott,
loves the sport of boxing.
I don't want you to leave right now without you telling us what's happening with your son. You know what I mean? He's still an unbeaten pro. What's happening with him? When is he next out, Scott? Before you leave us.
He's 14-year-old. He's just had a baby a couple of days ago, so he's just getting himself back from that. So I'll see how he is. We're in the gym again tomorrow, so we'll see where he is tomorrow, and then we'll be fighting before Christmas. There's a couple of things coming up. We're talking in the middle of talking right at this time. So yeah, just watch his space, and I'll keep you posted on as soon as we get the date. Yeah.
Scott Walsh Jr. Listen to your daddy. He knows. He's got the experience. What the scripture says: a wise son heareth the instructions of his father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. So listen to your dad. He's been there, done it, got the t-shirt, wears it proudly, and thank you for coming on the show, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys. Absolutely wonderful. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Take care. God bless, bro.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Boxing Spence. We love it, man. We love this thing and stuff.
Trust me, without a doubt.
Trust me, man. We can talk about this thing forever. It's part of us, and it's great for me that everyone has an opinion, and we can listen to each other. It doesn't mean that we're always right. It just means that it's seeing things from a perspective.
100%. And I would say also, like, the way people are shitting on Anthony Joshua right now, it's an absolute disgrace. I'm going to tell you why it's a disgrace, yeah? Because no one ever bring that excitement into British boxing. Nobody, Tunde.
I mean, I'm not really, you know me, I'm not in tune. I'm focused on my thing. So I don't know what's going on. But is that really what's happening? People are...
it's like, and fair play, let me big up Shaka Bars, the social media influencer and activist, because he wrote something and he tagged me in it to collaborate with him. So fair play to him, because it got mad numbers on Instagram yesterday, right? And I'm even gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it because I'll say, like, fair play to you, my bro. And it was, here we go. And he says in here, he says to Anthony Joshua, you know that the internet is a crazy place. The disrespect towards you is unnecessary, and people forgot it is a spiritual warfare. Spending time in Nigeria will allow you to win all battles. Sending love and guidance to you. The internet is cussing man out. You don't know when you haven't done shit even close to what he has done. I'm saying, say what you want to say, internet trolls, but you ain't that guy, bro. The heavyweight champion of the world is former, current, and future is that guy. So unless you can do what he has done, you are irrelevant. And that's what I've got to say to this conversation, right? And I'm just going to be real after props to brother, because you don't have to be on that one. And I'm saying, like, the nights Anthony Joshua has given us in boxing, right? And the way that young man has carried boxing in the UK to bring loads of money into the game. Let me tell you this now. If Anthony Joshua wasn't around, Tyson Fury would have made a comeback. Right? I'm going to be real. I don't believe Tyson Fury would have made a comeback if Anthony
So what
Joshua...
you trying to tell me that Tyson Fury is doing it for AJ? I don't believe that.
I'm saying that Tyson Fury was sitting back saying, this brother can't lace up my socks, can't lace up my boots. And this boy's getting his acclaim. I know that could have been part of it. And he made his comeback. Right? But them two haven't fought yet. So I still want to see Fury and AJ. Right? I still want to see those. But I'm not knocking anything at Daniel Dubois. But I'm just thinking of the nights that this young man has given us. The
Spence,
way
you can say that. You can say that. Because I know you've been about your business from the get-go.
Okay.
But enough of these brothers, I don't even know who this brother is, but enough of these guys, they're just arse lickers, fam. They're just arse lickers. They're just arse lickers. You just saying nice things about AJ now because you want AJ to come in your DMs and say thank you. No, brother. Don't. You understand? I keep seeing it. This is why. Wait, this.
I don't know none of that. I don't know none of that.
No. I'm telling you. You don't know about, but I'm telling you.
Okay.
Pure of these guys are just arse lickers.
Okay.
They're just arse lickers. They just want to say nice things about AJ now, thinking that you're gonna get some kind of bringing or something. No. Your uncles will tell you the thing. I'm telling you what it is. All these guys, AJ has done so nice, not you, not for you are the same guys behind closed doors saying AJ's rubbish, AJ's shit. This is the hypocrisy of these brothers.
Wait, what is it to this again?
Not you, Spencer.
No.
Always remember, I'm not talking about you.
I know that. But say that again. What is it? The what?
I said it's the hypocrisy.
Wait there, one more time, Tunde.
It's the hypocrisy of these guys. All of a sudden, you're backing AJ. All of a sudden, you got nice things to say about AJ. But you people are the same people behind closed doors who were mocking the youth. You're mocking the youth. You were mocking them, mocking him. You guys don't have nothing good to say about him. Now all of a sudden you want to play and roll along with the narrative that AJ's done good things for boxing. Get out of here, bro. You can't fool me. None of you guys can ever fool me with this thing here because I can see right through you. I can see right through all of you guys. So the people that really are real guys will always speak the truth on AJ, always speak the truth, give an opinion, whether it's right or wrong. You as an individual have to have the wherewithal to accept it, take it, and then look and say, you know what, Uncle Tunde, what he's saying is right. Or you know what, Unks, I didn't really agree with that today. But guess what? I know everything you say is coming from a love place, a good place. And that's all what bothers. This is why I switch off my socials. I have to switch off my socials because I'm just fed up, especially in weeks and situations like this when everybody just wants to be tagged along. You understand? Everybody wants to go and like they're all friendly and everything like that. Come on, man.
Hear your views on the AJ thing, brother.
Spencer's doing it. Come on, yeah, hypocrisy, fam. You get what I'm saying?
Hypocrisy. Look.
I'm just telling you. Anyway, I've got 7 Snapchats. I've got 7 Snapchats.
Clifton Mitchell's watching the show. Clifton, jump on the show, man.
Who's that?
Clifton Mitchell.
Okay, let me say out these super chats, or as I call them, Snapchats, because people People been giving their hard-earned money. First one, Pterodactyl. Thank you for the £5. He said, "Whole counter and power. That was the focus. No plan, and that's how Ben trained AJ. The guy that called AJ poor man's fury. He has to go. He has to go. Bring DJ back. DJ meaning Derek James. The second one is Bolts. Thank you for the $4.99. He says, simple defensive improvements and a more clear game plan can win him that fight. He's proven he has the heart and the grit that some people questioned of him. I have to agree. Pterodactyl, thank you again for the £5, sir. Spence, did you tell him to leave Ben? Look at the Lee Woods fight. He was getting battered. That was a telltale sign. Now, Pterodactyl, what I would say, we can't just keep on pointing out. There's always going to be a point. I mean, listen, what game plan did Derek James have for Errol Spence, for Terence Crawford? Errol Spence got Brucker. So sometimes it's just like that. You get what I'm saying? You can't always be blaming... I'm not always blaming Ben. But my thing is that Ben is a young guy. He's obviously committed to the cause, and you know. But you're in this situation, so there has to be a spotlight. Same way when I'm in there with my fighters, there's always a spotlight on me. But we can't just keep on blaming them and then say go to that one, and then when you go to that one, then you blame him for that. But what we can do, because that's boxing, and everybody has their opinion. But regardless, thank you for the £5. Mine, the lovely Mind Mastery strategist. Focus. Energy is not created, but moves.
Moves from place to place.
Come on. Or type Dr. Gal.
On the screen, I've made the screen get bigger.
Or type Dr. Gal. Dr. Gal, my gal. Thank you for the £2. Loving the convo with Mr. Welch, top bloke. Mr. B, Mr. O. Thank you for the £10. He says, stop making excuses for AJ. He is not a young you, up and coming. He is a seasoned champion. But the fact is, he is just not that good. Why do you think AJ is supposed to win by default? I don't think anybody, I mean, certainly not me. I can say he's not supposed to. Listen. From the time George Foreman can be retired and come back and win a world heavyweight title, from the time Bernard Hopkins is challenging for the undisputed light heavyweight championships, nearing the age of 50 years old, you can't tell me a man can't do nothing. Everything is possible. Dream it, believe it, become it. I've said this for years. It's just there has to be, if a man is willing, there has to be certain changes that's made. Thank you, Andre Bukenya, for the $1.99. He says, hypocrisy. Tunde Ajayi, come on. Old type Bobby Wright. Tunde 100, and that is the end of the Snapchat. Now let us continue the conversation because it is a wonderful conversation this evening. But I would be remiss if I did not bring in my brethren, the one. Listen, you see this brother here, control the dance. Any dance is getting controlled. Happens to be a great former boxer himself. Now. When you go boxing matches and you see all these little idiot security man trying to bad you up, it's him who's in control of it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the one, the only, Mr. Clifton, the Dun Gargan Mitchell.
Respect.
Listen, yes, man, we always love you on this show here, Mitchell, because Clifton, sorry, because listen, when you talk, you have to listen, because always a fair, balanced opinion. And me personally, I requested for you this evening. I said, bro, make sure you get Clifton on the thing, because when Clifton talks, it's just, there's no airs and grace. There's no trying to please. There's no trying to please one promoter to lick up a next promoter's ass. You're just talking the business. So before you do that, thank you, Pterodactyl. Fighters lose all the time, but experienced trainer is my point, Tunde. And I'm listening to your point. Cliff.
Yeah, how you doing?
Break it down for us, man.
You good? You good? Yeah. I feel regarding the AJ situation, I don't blame the trainer. I put it down strictly down to AJ's mindset and how he prepared. He can prepare physically.
Yes.
Physically is only half the battle, and probably less than half the battle. Understand?
Yes,
mentally,
sir.
you've got to be 10% physical, and the rest of it's mental. I feel mentally, he might have been warming up in the gym, but you look at two people getting in that ring. You know, I was listening to the show, and you said Daniel has been bred through his life for this moment. Understand? And he looked at his dad, and his. But if you understand the control that his dad, or the influence, I should say, that his dad has had on Daniel, he'd say, no, don't worry about this. Don't worry about that loss. Don't worry about that loss. We'll keep going. Understand? Now, you're ready now. This is your time right now. And his dad just, let him out the gate and said, go.
Yes, sir.
Let him out the gate and said, let's go to work. I understand that. I understand it. And I think that AJ, you had one guy ready to go. One guy thought, okay, I'm going to warm myself into this fight. And there's no time to warm yourself into this fight. Heavyweight boxing, you can't warm yourself into a heavyweight fight. Understand?
Well, you know.
Yeah. Listen, Scott Walsh is a very, very good friend of mine. Understand?
Yes, sir.
And one guy beat both of us. But the problem was that Scott got his revenge. I didn't get a chance to get my revenge. James Obola beat me. James Obola beat me.
Yeah.
James Obola beat
championship with you.
Yeah. And so
was that 93? That was 93.
94. Right. So big respect to Scott Walsh. Top professional, one of my good friends.
Yes.
But I just feel like, you know, we can give AJ all the plaudits, but at the end of the day, this is a fight, and it's a fight, and I don't think he was prepared mentally when he got in the ring to fight. But he tried. You can see that the fight's in him, because the fight is in him. And I understand what you're saying, Tunde, that he could easily spewed it if he wanted to. He didn't want to spew it. He went out on his shield.
So, definitely. So,
you know, as a fighter, when you've put it, it's down to the individual where he's going to be his decision where he takes this fight again straight away. Only he knows, whether he should take that fight. I understand what you're saying, he shouldn't take it. But the fighter himself will know, do I need to have a rejig? A rejig, not a tune-up. I don't think he needs a tune-up, because I don't think anybody's going to get him prepared for that. Understand? He has to get himself mentally prepared for that. I don't think he really needs. I don't think he needs. I think he can. I do personally think he can get straight back in. Understand?
And that's what I want him to do.
Yeah, I think he can. But is it the right thing to do? Only he will know in his head. Understand?
Great point.
For me, that was probably one of the worst performances I've seen from AJ. Understand?
There you go.
But what he did show, you're gonna have to kill him to beat him.
Trust me. This is what I'm saying, Clifton.
You're gonna have to kill him to beat him, because you know he's taking some big shots.
Shots. Listen, I'm coming through like a warrior.
Let's get this right. Everybody's clever after the event. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But you've got to be. You think it's easy to work a corner?
You think
it's easy to work a corner? Yeah. You think you have to have experience. Understand? And people think that. Listen. How many people have actually been in that situation before? Understand? Exactly. And pulled it through. Understand? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what scale it's on. You just have to have been in that situation where the guy's been put down, been hurt. Can you pull him through? Understand? And that boils down to the trust of the corner and the fighter.
There you go.
Clifton, 1 second, yeah? A fighter gets knocked down, right?
Yeah.
He goes back, just gets knocked down, the bell goes, yeah? You sit him down, yeah? I remember, I'm old school. I know watching Joe Louis get knocked down, his trainers stretch out his legs so the blood can run down. You don't sit on your legs.
Yeah.
Right? I know that your trainer's meant to take ice and throw it on your private parts. You know why?
Yeah.
When something brushes past your private parts when it's cold, you go,
Yeah.
it wakes you up. I know we're meant to squeeze the back of the ears because the ears makes the blood flow up to the chin and around the cerebral parts of the head. You know what I mean? To reach.
Rub the back of the neck. Rub the back of the neck. Yeah.
Aye. But you see, certain man I watch one-time boxing, you know.
Listen.
No, you have to go watch when the great men go, and don't watch the great men who are fighting. You meant to watch the corners.
Exactly.
You know I mean? And that's not me linking out on my man's team, yeah? Because the Lee Wiley, the Ben Davison, all them man there, but them boys are
people.
Proper, you know.
Yeah. You know what?
Right?
my virgin God. Social.
Oh no! Wait, Tiffin. Thank you, Carlos, for the €5.99. AJ said the balls was shit in the corner. That to me is the mindset and totally underestimating the magnitude of the fight. Pride comes before destruction. Thank you for the $5.99, Carlos. Let's continue.
Go on. Talk your talk.
Listen, when
you said your brethren said something to you. What your brethren?
Yeah, he said, you know when you go into the sports centers and you've got gym trainers, you got the PT instructors. That's what mine said. It's the certain trainers are like leisure center trainers. Understand? That's what he called them, leisure center fitness instructors, right? But I'm not putting that on anybody. Understand? But that's what I just said when my brethren said to me. But when Tyson Fury went to America, and boxed Steve Cunningham, and got blasted, went over, got up, made it back to the corner, sat down. I said to him, do not punch with this guy. Don't punch when he's punching. When he start punching, then start going to work because he's too fast for you right now. And I believe, listen, roll the dice is not what we really wanted to hear, but I think if he had stayed in there another 2 rounds, this fight could have swung. It could have swung the other way.
Was it actually Ben that said that, or was it someone else?
I think it wasn't Ben that said it. I think somebody outside the ring that said it.
This is what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah.
Okay, it was right. So it wasn't actually Ben that said it.
No.
Roll the dice, you know, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't Ben that said it. That's the point I'm making.
That's what you get when one voice in the corner. There you go again.
Okay. Man, I want to chat. Listen to me. I've been fortunate enough to work corners with Tunde Ajayi, and Tunde's been fortunate enough to work corners with me, right?
I've worked corners with you.
Any talk, yes,
yes,
you worked corners with me as well. Thank you very much. When Darren won the British title. You know what I mean? And you know what? And that was against Don Charles. And let me tell you this. 1 more for talk, right? If I've got anything to say, I whisper to Tunde before the bell goes. After that, that's your thing to do your thing because you're meant to listen to one voice. When you're hearing this voice, that voice, what kind of madness is that?
But I don't know. Again, Clifton and Spencer, I've heard this, but when I'm watching the old school boxing and I'm hearing Don Turner and these men shouting and Lou Duva and these men shouting at their fighters, it was more than I did hear more than one voice. I'm just saying, I did hear more than one voice.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying to you that in that situation right there,
yes,
you're meant to hear one.
You just listen. I don't mind someone else talking as he's going out, but in the main part of that minute, he's got to have one voice.
Body of work, Tunde.
Right. So I'm not saying that I'm this or I'm that. I'm just saying that's the way I'll do it. But I think can AJ beat him? I thought AJ. I never ever wrote Daniel off. That's one thing. But I thought AJ was definitely the favourite.
So
I thought if Don Charles doesn't make that adjustment, my man's in for a short night, quick night. Understand? But he rushed him. He took him out of his game. Took him straight out of his game plan. But then again, if you've sparred hundreds of rounds with somebody, I don't care if you're a pro or not. You know the man.
Trust me, and that's what I was trying to allude to. When
he had no fear whatsoever, no apprehension if I'm putting it on you.
But sorry, let me just say thank you, Mr. B, Mr. O. Question for Spence: what makes you think if AJ turned up mentally, AJ would win? Why? Hold on, it's gone. Why isn't it simple? DDD is a better fighter as shown on the night. And again, I did say that as well. But the question is
I'm gonna ask
to
the question
Spence.
to me, right, Tun? Because I don't believe that Daniel Dubois is a better fighter than Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
That's why, right? I think
Yes.
Anthony Joshua has got better fundamentals. But what it is this: the fundamentals that Daniel Dubois has got, he works well with them, very well, and he's confident in his fundamentals. You can't when you're in, you see, like when man's fighting on the back foot, yeah, which Anthony Joshua was doing. He's fighting on the back foot with a low hand guard, yeah.
Yes.
Against a noted puncher, right?
Yes.
As soon as your hands are up here, yeah, you're giving a man more to think about. You don't believe me? Go watch Floyd Mayweather. Anytime Floyd was
he'll change the look. He changes the look all the time. Gives him a different look.
My man's hands were down here. I'm saying, right, y'all watch too much Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, y'all watch,
Listen, we can talk about eras, yeah? And I believe if Lennox was in there, that wouldn't have lasted 2 rounds.
Oh, come on, don't talk.
And they're talking.
Vicious.
No, that's not. And
but
like I said, Daniel has that much more
Stop it.
that he can add to his game.
No. You see, I always come because Lennox is my man. But I'm being honest with you. Lennox had his hands very low when he fought Evander Holyfield twice.
Yeah.
Tunde.
His hands was low. Lennox could not have his hands. Wait, Spence. You two just made a point, and I'm just obviously giving us food for thought.
Looking like Shannon Sharp today,
Say again?
You're looking like Shannon Sharp today,
Listen. I'm just making a point. Lennox had his hands very low in both Holyfield fights. Yeah? Okay. And if he done that nonsense with Daniel Dubois, I'm telling you, Daniel Dubois would have licked him up. I'm just being honest. Daniel Dubois, this guy, noted. Has he got a better jab than Lennox?
No.
Debatable. Lennox had a fantastic...
Wait a minute, you said debatable?
No, I'm saying that's debatable, meaning that... Listen,
none of them boys got better jab than Lennox.
Don't start, Spencer. I say meaning that Lennox...
Are you nuts?
This is why man can't build that, because we're always interrupting one another. Let me talk. I said it's debatable because Lennox Lewis, in my opinion, had one of the best jabs in heavyweight boxing. But Daniel Dubois' jab is like a right hand, Spence. It is like a right hand. It's very, very powerful. And only time will prove how good his jab is.
Okay. I just think... Sorry, ask a question now. 1 second. I was waiting. You're talking about Lennox Lewis and his hands really low against Evander Holyfield, right?
Yes.
Maybe somewhere Lennox Lewis is subconscious is now like, right, I'm 20 pounds heavier than this man, right?
True.
Did Lennox Lewis fight with a low hand guard against David Tua, who was tipped to beat him and was blacking out everybody? I rest my case.
Lennox did have his, again, I'm listening, but you know me, I don't interrupt when you're talking. If you go and look at Lennox's career, even when he got stopped by Rapman, by Oliver McCall, his hands were very low, Spence.
So I agree, but against David Tua, his hands were low when he's out of range. As soon as you got to range, his hands went up.
Yes,
Anthony Joshua's hands were low. Anthony Joshua's hands were low in close range and out of range. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Lennox, listen.
Lennox would do this thing where he throw the jab, he pull away. And when he pull away, he makes sure his hands up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's the teachings of Emmanuel Stewart. So he said, you can't be throwing no left hook at me. And you throw the jab out straight. So if you come on the right hand, there's the blocker. Come on,
for sure.
All right.
For sure.
So,
I agree.
And then also, there is no way Daniel Dubois, let me tell you this. Anthony Joshua don't look like Lennox Lewis. I'll tell you that now. Right? And when Lennox Lewis rush you that right, and you know what time of day it is about Daniel Dubois.
What does Ross mean, please, Spence? What? Can you explain to the fighters what Ross means? I don't know what that means. Anyway, Anton Allen interviews and documentaries, Mr. ITV. He says Clifton's point is about motivation. Dubois was motivated to do something he's never done before, become a champion. AJ was walking old ground. Was he mentally hungry enough against a hungry man? That goes out to Clifton.
Good point. And he's correct. Motivated. One was more motivated than the other. I think one thought that he could take his time and work his way. I'll get him in a bit.
Yes.
And the bus went before he got on it. You know what I mean?
Boats, thank you for the $4.99. He said AJ didn't have a fear factor going in there. Again, echoing what you've just said, Clifton. It wasn't built into him by his team in camp. Hence the lack of defense. He had fear against Ngannou. Again, these points are so valid and so true. I definitely agree with him. Thank you again, Bolts, for the $4.99. We've gone to 9:30. I've got work to do, gentlemen. Listen, let me big up these Snapchat. Thank you, TC, for the £2. What you lot saying? AJ needs Ronnie Davis smacks. Yeah. You know when Ronnie Davis used to slap man in the face? Chris slapped Chris Eubanks, but I know Chris told him to do that because I don't think Ronnie would have slapped up Chris like that. But as well, you know, we got to end on a bit of comfort. Just making sure that we haven't got any more Snapchats. Oh yeah, here's one. Thank you, Pterodactyl, for the £2. Lewis jab was like a right hand too. Correct. Yeah, his jab was. I was watching him today. In fact, his jab was fire. Yeah, so that's the end of the Snapchats. Spence, we would be remiss if we didn't end, and Clifton, without talking about the talking point this week, which was like they say, like father, like son, right? So Chris Eubanks Jr. really letting off on promoters, but then having to retract his comment in what he said. But I just want to know what was...
Tell him, so when I take back talk.
I knew Clifton was going to say that. My point is, bro, what are you talking to talk for? And then you just change it, fam. Like you might as well stand on your word.
Back it.
You talk it. You should have backed it, fam. Like, but listen. I don't know. Listen, he obviously was emotional about it at the time, and the thing about when you retract something, when you retract a public statement, it's there, bro. Nobody ain't listened to no retraction. You've said it already. He said it. You can do all this.
Sorry, he talked the talk.
He talked the talk. You said it. Like nobody. Yeah. In fact, I would go so far to say, people have turned a blind eye to the apology, and there's
nobody gives a shit about it. It's already out there, isn't it? It's done.
It's already out there, you know. So it is what it is. I mean, listen.
It's like
at the end of the day, Tokyo Sheikh is doing big things for boxing, and I think
he's doing excellent things for boxing.
The most.
You know what that was like? That's like
go on.
You're in the school classroom, yeah.
Go on.
And like, there's a couple bully man in there. You walk up to them, look, blow in his eye. Bust up his eye, and then the teacher saying, "Say sorry."
Yeah,
it's too late. My eyes bust up.
Yeah.
My dad used to say that. He said, "But my dad used to say, don't smack me and then say sorry, but you smacked me already. Sorry don't mean nothing."
All right.
So,
and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I believe that was His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh saying, "Listen, you lot done the argument. Yes. I don't want this." And everyone, like I said, Turki Al-Sheikh is the man with the ruler right now. We used to be at school, where you clap man on the knuckles, and everyone has to stand to attention for that man, for what he has done for boxing. And may I also say this? I thought last week's show was excellent, Ton. The watch along that you did was excellent, but the show, I was there, the show was excellent, right? And we saw some comments from, I have to address this, Simon Jordan, about why did they sing the Saudi national anthem, yeah? You know why they couldn't the Saudi national anthem, Simon Jordan? It's because it's called Riyadh season. And if we had London season, and we had London season in America, and we're playing the American national anthem, I guarantee you somebody's going to sing God save the king, right? Know that part there. If we're funding it, if it's our country that's funding it, understand what Riyadh season is. Riyadh season is funded by the Saudi government. The Saudi government get the funding from the PIF. The PIF, it gets trickled down. So if we're saying we're the country's backing something, you better sing with national anthem, make that part there clear. You know what I mean? Liberty. When man saying like, oh, why did they have to? It's like they're looking at things to pick at. If it wasn't for Turkey Al Sheikh, how many big fights wouldn't we got? We wouldn't have got these big fights.
That's very true.
Right?
That's very
so
true.
No. It's like certain people want things to go and complain about. As we know, I just come back from Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago after one of our football players from OYS got signed to Al Aruba. Tunde is the best I've ever been treated. I've been all around the world. It's the best I've ever. I thought when Spencer Brown brought me out for Fury versus Ngannou and the dinner that we had before the fight, I thought I died and went to boxing heaven. As far as I'm concerned, but I'm saying that's because of boxing. I love the game. Take me out. I went out there as a civilian sub-agent for a footballer, and I've never been treated like that. And you know what? All the football teams, bar 4 in Saudi Arabia, it's the government that back them. So it's the government that's giving opportunity, which is not just for Saudi Arabia. It's a global thing. It's helping global people. I'm not having no talk against that at all. They need to be quiet.
Listen, me more than me, the same as everyone, we're happy of the influence of Turkey Al Sheikh in the sport of boxing right now, and the fact that we're getting these big fights, these big events.
Just a question.
Yes.
Do you think that the fighters are getting paid handsomely?
Clifton, you see what I'm saying? It's Sunday and you want to start this thing. It's Sunday and you want to see, you want to start trouble.
I'm just thinking. Can we know them? I don't really want to go into it.
Listen,
listen, I'm not going there. But I'm just saying, if my one promoter said that when they won the 5v5, he said that the money's for the whole company, not just the boxers. That's what I'm saying.
Listen. We don't want to. We want to keep it.
Yeah, forget it. Just throw that away. I didn't
at the end of the day, I don't.
You ain't got it no more.
Yeah, me not got no contract with him.
Listen. There is no doubt that Turkey Al Sheikh already, in a short space of time, has changed the lives of many fighters.
Of many people.
So we just have to respect that, hope it continues, and let's hope all the promoters can continue to work together and bring us the best fights.
It's like Manley and Thiago, isn't it? He's in the middle.
Say again, bro?
It's like the Labour Aids, the PMP and Labour Aid in Jamaica, when he got the Manley and Thiago. Bob Marley got them both together in the middle.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. It's true. And listen, as long as it benefits, benefits the fight, as long as the fighters are benefited from it, as long as Spencer Brown, what he said on our show, which was Turkey Al Sheikh's vision, was to make sure these fighters are in a situation where it's like professional football, where even if you're in League One, you can look after your family. You're getting paid well. That is a vision which I definitely want to see come through. And so let's just, keep on doing what we're doing.
Do you know the good thing about it is, is that he's not just keeping it to his country. He wants to share with people. Understand?
Yes.
He wants people.
And he generally, I feel like he generally likes boxing. You see him there throwing punches up in the air.
Yeah.
Like it's great when you got someone who is actually a fan of the sport, and actually prepared to put their money where their mouth is. And
he's a student. He knows every fighter. And he's a proper student.
And making sure it funnels down to the fighters. The money, the finances funnel down to the fighters. Continue to do what you're doing. His Excellency and all the promoters. I ain't got nothing bad to say about no one. Just
I think it's absolutely brilliant for world
Carlos,
boxing, not just British boxing, world boxing, that been able to shake both of them.
Shake it.
Shake all the promoters up and say, right
Yes.
then,
Yes.
if you don't fight, what I tell you to fight, then you don't fight at all. You don't fight on my show. Understand?
I like that.
He's basically doing a UFC on it. Understand?
Yeah. And again, my thing is always the fighters. You know, they have a limited time to earn, and when they're in the biggest fights.
That's one of the most poignant things that you said was a limited time. Yes. Trainers are going to be around a lot longer than these fighters.
Exactly, Cliff.
Exactly. Right? So they have a window, and like you said, Spence, chewing gum. Next one, chase gone, spit it out, put the next one in. And it's how long you're not going to get him put another piece of chewing gum with another piece. But unless it feels like you can get some more life out of it. But I think, all in all, this game is a drug. Understand? Boxing is a drug. And if people trainers are not in this for money, because if there was, they'd find someone else to do. Understand? the hours that trainers
they don't
put
add
in.
up.
If you put us on an hourly rate,
it don't add up. It don't add up. It's total love for the sport.
Love. So
it's
I don't want to get all nostalgia on it, but like I said, fighters have a very, very. If you're in this game as a fighter over 5 years, you've done well.
You've done very well, and to earn as well.
To earn, and the only ones that if you're a journeyman, you can stay in it as long as you like. Understand? As long as you're not getting knocked out too often. There's different, obviously, there's different levels of journeyman. There's journeyman like, I'm not going to mention no names, but there's journeyman like, there's some heavyweight journeyman out there that earn strong dough. Strong dough. And the journeyman, understand? And you can look at it as you like, and they'll win the odd fight here, win the odd fight there, and revive themselves, and now they're on good dough. And now you wouldn't say it was the journeyman, but there's a gatekeeper. There's gatekeepers and journeymen. But if we cut this back down to boxing, 5 years as a career is not a long time. You've got to really, if people explain that to fighters, and the trainers have to explain that to fighters and be honest with them, that this is a short career. So you have to put your whole heart and soul into it. And I understand what Scott was saying about you have to die. You've got to be prepared to go die when you get in there. As a fighter, yes, yeah. Your trainer, your corner man, has to know when to pull you out. Understand?
Come on.
That's his job. That's his job. But you personally, you don't want any shit houses getting in that boxing ring and then jumping on the floor. Understand? That's why you've got to get Joshua maximum credit, because he doesn't need to get up.
Yeah. When you need it.
He could have said, what? Sure, I'm done with this. He's a fighter. He's a fighter through and through. And that's what he showed to me. That's what he showed me. Yeah, and you know what? He's a fighting man. The spirit in Anthony
Joshua can never, ever be questioned.
Ever.
Regardless of the money, this is what I'm trying to say. When man's saying that man's got money and hunger, of course there's hunger. You don't get up after getting clapped by Daniel Dubois and keep getting up and fighting and then hurting.
His chin, Daniel. He's got a good chin. No, they give a shit what anybody's saying.
Listen, how can you say that man's skinny? It's nonsense.
You got
all right, Cliff. I can tell you're in one of those moods. You want to try and long out the show and keep talking. Today,
sorry. I'm gone.
Carlos, thank you for the €5.99. I just want to add that Don Charles, his energy is the energy of a trainer who'd give his life for his fighters, and many trainers are paycheck trainers. Yes, yeah. I don't know about the second part of the
paycheck trainers.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Right. I just know about the fighters, the trainers that are willing to give everything for their fighters. Deep random thinker, how dare Don Charles call our king a liar, fake, cheating, questioning his faith, get the rematch, and so that rematch becomes double undisputed and shut him up. deep random thinker. Listen, I said to Spencer earlier on, you got to be very mindful about life. And when things happen, you don't really know what people are going through at that particular moment. Some people, they get a bit of fame and it goes to their head. That's what happens. It's not a unique thing. Some people can't handle success. So when they get it all of a sudden, it goes to their head. And then they start saying things which ultimately down the road, they're going to regret it. So it's not to be angry at your brother. If they're saying something against you, just say, cool, say nothing. Because you may be surprised to find out that later on down the road, they apologize for the things they said at that particular moment. We ain't here to, it's not disunity. I don't want no disunity between my brother Spencer, Don Charles. I don't want that. Everybody,
No, we don't want that, man.
Everybody must just enjoy the moment. We're always going to say something towards one another that we're not happy about at a particular time. My advice is just stay calm. Stay calm. If you know you ain't done nothing wrong, it is what it is. Sometimes we get angry and we start letting off at one another. But the underlying thing is know that life is a journey. And in the end, we all just want to be able to do what we're doing here on The Fight Is Right, which is having conversation, talking about the sport that we love and we cherish and we care about. The personal things, I heard my man Don say it's personal. It's never personal. Personal is when you lose your parents. Personal is when you lose loved ones that are close to you. A man saying something that you don't like ain't personal. That's just normal barbershop conversation. It's just so it's all love right now. And I've been like this since I've been a youth, since I've been a young man. I'm in the love thing, the love mode where we all get together. Unless you cross
him and he blocks you.
Yeah. Because there's times when me and Spence ain't talked for like 1 year, 2 years. Because we're vexed at each other. You understand? 3 years, me and Spence don't talk. But guess what? We always comes back to the same thing. We got love in our hearts. So you understand what I'm saying? So I cuss Spence all the time. I shout at him. I do all these things. I tell people, I say bad things about him to another. But it's not with no bad in the heart. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just that at that moment, the brothers piss me off. So sometimes you got to just let a man go through what he's going through, how he's
You've got to be real. You've got to be real. Understand?
You just got to be real. You got to be real.
Right? I'm saying on this Don Charles situation, yeah?
Yes.
Right? I know I've been an avid defender of Don Charles over the years for many years. Right? And the position that you're in, I don't respect. You're the big dog.
Hey, what going on there? Hey, someone tried broke in the yard. Someone tried broke in the yard.
Yeah, let them try, man. Let them try. I have to go in a different room.
Right? I'm telling you straight that there's many times in the past that I've defended Don Charles vehemently when man was talking shit that he couldn't train, all the rest of it. Right? Now, isn't it ironic? I know that it was this brother on the screen, Tunde Ajayi, that showed Don how to start doing the raps because he used to do the raps for him. I know this. And I taught Tunde how to do raps. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It all filters down. We're all connected. I ain't got no argument with Don Charles, because anything that I've said, I've stood on. You know what I mean? But I know you're a very emotional human being, but you're still my brother and I still love you. Because,
good.
Right, that's it. It's not like, oh, no, you said this. No, because you're all right. But I know for a fact, I'm not Coogan Cashes. Come here, say them trying to gang Coogan, You hear about it?
What?
They tried to gang up on Coogan.
Oh, yes. I did hear.
Everyone's talking about it, too. Like, Coogan must have tried to go back behind the changing room. And George, Don Charles' son, like, just hotted him up. Like, just hotting him up with a brother.
Forget about all that. I'm not all that.
I'm talking about it too late.
Forget about all that, Spence. Forget about all that. You've said the right thing.
Yeah, no. But
it's all love. It's all love.
I'm telling you now, that I've got nothing but love and respect for Don Child. I ain't no gripe with
Good.
Don Child.
That's all you need to say.
That.
That's all you need to say. And let Don. This is Don's moment.
It's his moment, bro.
He said it.
It's
He's in his 60s. He's in his 60s. He's actually he's fulfilled something that he's wanted for so long.
Come on.
And for me, I love that. I love that. I love seeing him. I love seeing him up there shining, knowing that, you know, through everything. Because I listened to the interview. All I've said to Don in all this is congratulations. God don't make mistakes. You deserve it. But I saw the interview, and I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for him, and he should never. Don't use your time to shine as a platform to disrespect or talk out on the others that have done you wrong. Because guess what? If they didn't do you wrong, you wouldn't have had the motivation to keep going, and now you're getting the blessings. So listen, man, we're all happy for you. You know, well, I am happy for you. I'm happy, and I just hope we can all continue loving the sport of boxing and doing what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a fantastic show. Always. If we could have Clifton on there every week, I would come with Clifton on there every week, because Clifton is just a man. He always comes with an honest opinion, which is what we want here on The Fight Is Right. Spencer, we all know Spencer. We all love Spence. Same thing. Anyway, they can call him what he wants. It's all love. Thank you, Scott Welsh, for blessing the show. Another guy, Derek Sweet D Williams. Bruv, the show continues. Imagine this show, Clifton. We started this thing in lockdown. Mad. And the show just continues to grow week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. Ladies and gentlemen, let us end the show with the magical words. Oh, dream it, believe it, become it.
Come on up. Big up yourself, Clifton Mitchell.
Big up Clifton Mitchell. Original man.
Big up my
Where
brother.
you go, Cliff? What you mean? Our fingers, toes, and everything crossed that Ty Mitchell gets his license back and comes back and blazes, man, because he's been doing some great work. I see the sparring that he's doing in the gym. So I just pray that everything goes well this month, yeah?
Alhamdulillah, my brother.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Love. Next week.
Assalamu alaikum.